John Martinson from the Home and Hospital Program.
And I'm Jamie Ratliff.
The objective today is to develop a collaborative plan for a lesson, and the lesson is a 6th grade mathematics lesson modeling Eureka's lesson number 5 on exponents
In Module 4.
in Module 4.
Right, Module 4. All right.
Number one, Jamie, I think we should elicit some prior knowledge that the students have had from the 5th grade, which was about scientific notation from the power of 10 times 10 times 10. So I think that might be a good explore, or maybe it could go in another spot and extend, or what do you think? What about it?
I think you could do that. I think that'd be a good way to lead in if you just show like 10 to the third, right? It's 10 times 10 times 10. Then you can show that it's repeated multiplication.
Okay.
And exponents are basically repeated multiplication. So if you can do anything to introduce and reinforce that construct, that will be beneficial. That would be good.
Okay, that's what they had in the 5th grade. So I believe, let's take a look at our draft here.
We have a draft
We have a
lesson
draft.
that we made.
So the explore would be after their drill, all right?
Mhm.
So an engagement is a drill, basically.
Mhm.
So we're going to drill them with prior knowledge on the construct of repeated addition leading into multiplication.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're going to reinforce repeated addition. Is multiplication.
All right. That's good.
And with several examples on their drill, they would be able to show that there is a relationship there, and then we'll pose the question, is multiplication a repeated operation of addition?
Okay.
If they have any misconceptions about that, we'll nip that right in the bud.
Sure.
And then we move on to our exploration, which would be the recall from recall prior knowledge. And in 5th grade, they were exposed to scientific notation. So recall prior knowledge from 5th grade, exposure to scientific notation.
Right, then you could just work backwards. So if you have like 10 to the 7th, what does that mean? And you could use that to show us repeated multiplication.
Okay, so demonstrate.
That's kind of what you're doing here in this problem anyway.
In the explore, right?
Yeah, it's to the 5th.
Demonstrate 10 times 10
Right.
times 10
And so on. Right.
times 10 times 10 is 10 to the 5th power. And that explore sheet will kind of elicit what they may be thinking about exponents to begin with, or if they can recall
Right.
that knowledge.
And you could even, like you have a lot of space here, you could even write out what you're thinking and what it means and why, and justify it, and then people could share out and they could discuss.
Good point.
Good
Good
you
point
can
with
even
that.
have people pair up and do it.
Yeah, why don't you
Work
write
smaller.
that down for the final copy?
Sure. So like think, pair, share, right?
Right.
The groups of
Think,
twos.
pair, share.
Right? The pairs or small groups, right?
Perfect. And then we'll move on to, okay, we've got a drill, we've got some explore,
Yeah.
and next we're going to go to explain, where we're going to model for the student in the explain portion is
Right.
more of a I do, we do, then you
Right.
do type of approach. So it's
So it's basically like a modeling and guide practice. and
model
Some independent practice,
with, right,
right?
guided practice. And I wrote the draft based on the lesson 5 of Mod 4, 6th grade. And on the sheet here, we have the actual 1 through 5 on the examples that are in the lesson
worksheet.
itself. It's in the
On the
Eureka
worksheet.
worksheets. So as we demonstrate and actually say the words 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, 5 to the 5th power.
Right,
And
and
we all-
you could even say, use the verbal phrase and explain what that means.
Right, use a verbal. To get them in utilizing the terminology,
Right,
the math terms, talking the language.
right. And then here it says, write in expanded form, so you have to make sure everybody understands what expanded form is.
Right.
So like you have 8 cubed is equals 8 times 8 times 8, and so on, and then you have variable here, g cubed.
On expanded form, do you think there might be a misconception on expanded form?
Sure, or could be. You could say like 8 cubed is 8 to the 8 times 3,
Right.
you know, and 10 to the 6th power. You know, some people might say it's 10 times 6.
Yeah, well, I think some of the children, let's say we had a number 350, all right? We would have 300, 3 times 100, 5 times 10s, okay?
Mhm.
That is what they think expanded form is.
Mhm.
It's a little different when you're
Mhm.
talking exponents. So that could be a misconception.
So maybe provide an example.
Yeah, yeah. I think as we do and then they do on their own, a few examples.
Right.
Um,
So maybe before you even do number 3, you have an example. What do you think?
I like that idea. That's good.
Yeah, I'll write it down. So what would be a good example? So I'm just writing down, teacher will provide an example before students work on numbers 3 through 5.
Okay.
All right?
Good job.
So, yeah.
So now we've got explanation and extension. Here's where I would like to go to having them exposed to using decimals and fractions as a base.
Sure.
Okay? So we're going through the same process with this extension. We're going to do some modeling and then allow them to go forward on their own.
And, well, before you do that, so as long as people understand, you know, like here, 2.3 equals, 2.3 times 2.3, we have to make sure you know how to multiply decimals. So you might be able to write it out, like 2.3 to 5th power, you write it out 5 times, but then you have to know how to do the math. So you have to make sure people can multiply with decimals first. Same with fractions. So you have to
With
make
the
sure you know how to do
calculator,
that.
though, we should be able to show them how
You
to
can.
use the exponents
Sure you can.
with the arrow key. So that'll give them work on the TI 84, 85, whatever they have,
So-
83.
So we can write that.
Okay.
So,
So demonstrate,
so the TI-15 can do it.
well, the Texas Instruments, whatever,
Right.
number,
Use the TI-15.
demonstrate TI ability to,
Right. Don't you call that the up key,
uh,
right? The up key to put a superscript? Remember we were talking about the
use, yeah,
the
use,
terms,
it's like a caret, upkeep.
right, it's a key, it's a caret.
For,
I've heard kids call it the up key,
right,
so, but it is a caret.
for exponents.
Yeah. So to insert the superscript, or insert the exponent. Okay.
And then with the exploration, we should go back to exploration a tad bit. We have, we did develop a draft of the new terminology, a demonstration of what you know, the 5 times 5 times 5.
Right.
You identify exponents, which is the base, take a look at that.
Yeah. So, and you know, this is good too, and you know what you might want to do, and you said during exploration, which is good, that's what you should do. So like, you know, first you want to go over the vocabulary, and make sure everybody understands. So like if you're saying cubed and squared, and you know what those things mean, and like the base and the exponent, and the whole thing is a power, right?
Right.
Because sometimes that's referred to as a power. So, you know, you want to make sure people understand that. You know, how would you write the power? You know, what's the base, what's the exponent? How do you write it out? How do you do the math? What are the steps? And, you know, check as you go, that kind of thing. Make sure, you know, you're checking as you go along.
Right, and the idea is to get them to use this terminology in the right sense, in the right format.
Right.
Right.
That's right. So I'm just writing on the draft teacher models process and wrote quotes, check as you go.
Right.
Because you know,
And you can, that's more of a walk around type to
Right.
small groups, whatever they're in, to observe how they're
right. And it's good to monitor your
Working
work.
the
It's
problem.
good to self-monitor. And if you have a partner that can monitor also. So you wanna, you know, even if you said, like, if you made a mistake, you could, if you have a 5-step problem and you make a mistake on step 2, you say, oh yeah, look, I made a mistake, I caught it, I'm gonna go back and fix it. It's no big deal, I mean, check it, it's right. And then move on, instead of going all the way to the end, and then if you got it wrong, well, where's that breakdown? So you wanna analyze that before you go farther or deeper in, you know, you wanna do that. That's what I do, it seems to be effective.
Okay, well then, that would take us then to our exit ticket, which is pretty much a compilation of problems coming out of the Eureka Lesson 5. Okay?
Yep.
And where number 4 is with one student thought that 2 to the 3rd power was 6. What mistake do you think you made, and how would you help them fix that mistake? So they can, that's kind of self-monitoring also, that they understand
That's
the
good.
process.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good exit ticket, I
I have a question.
think. Yes?
So it says here, write 14 and 7/10 in all 3 forms.
The exponential form, expanded form, and standard.
Okay. Now, I know it's right here.
Yeah.
I know it's right here. But you never know, somebody might say, what do you mean? So,
See
I would
above.
just be, right, I would just be, you know, I'd watch kids and make sure they were with it and they knew exactly what you were asking, that's all. But yeah, I think it's good.
And for take-home homework, we have
Have a problem set.
a problem set from Eureka.
Yeah.
I think that would be an adequate
I'll just write that in here.
demonstration of their understanding. And let's see if, hopefully they'll actually get that. So we have, let's see, we're reinforcing, getting some recall, we're demonstrating, we're modeling, and doing some more demonstration. So
It's pretty good.
I think if we have a copy of this, maybe it'd show our thought process a little bit.
Sure. You got that,
Is
Chris?
that good, Chris?
All right.
All right, well,
And
thank
the
you.
the lesson objective, right, you have here, evaluate expressions with whole number exponents. So the student will be able to evaluate expressions with whole number exponents. You think that's a good objective? You think that fits what we're doing?
I think so.
I think it does.
Right on.
And the indicators are, you know, from the manual, so it's 6EEA1, 6EEA2C, and you can look that up. And the materials, we have paper, pencil, calculator, multiplication tables if you need them, your worksheet, exit ticket, you know, also if you want to use a whiteboard, markers, erasers, that kind of thing. So that's basically all the nuts and bolts of it. We went over the plan, we have a draft, we made some revisions.
And we'll have a
typed
final
it up.
copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good to go. Thank you very much.